Everybody, welcome back to Getting Started with Think or Swim. My name is Mike Fairbourn. It's great to be with you today, folks. Today I want to really take a look at, talk specifically about scan creation tools. And I wanted to extend a little bit beyond that into an area that you may be familiar with, maybe not. Customizing your own scans using the Condition Wizard, folks, which is very easy to use. It's very quick, and it's also can be quite accurate too. We'll go into details on that just momentarily, but I'd love to welcome all of you here today. Not a class I normally fill in for, but it is great to fill in on this class today. And so, yeah, with that, yeah, any questions, comments you have, definitely throw those into the chat. I want to go ahead and just pull up here some additional details in terms of just our chat, and wanted to state that to welcome all of you. We do have Barb in the chat, good friend and colleague of mine, Barb Armstrong, very knowledgeable on the topic of thinkorswim. By the way, you can catch Barb out on the road frequently, so if she's in your neck of the woods, well worth the time to go see her at the live event along with Ben. Kevin, I believe, is there too. Hello to you, Wacky. Good to see Wacky on board, as well as Robert. We've got Jenny, Jack, Life in the Fast Lane, and Rojo, Jim, Roger, and Wiley. Yep, how to make a scan for a script, basically. That's indeed very basic. Some of the basic ones are the best ones, I mean, honestly. So we'll hit that as well during our discussion. But before we do that, let's hit some disclosure items to get started. Options, well, yeah, carry high level of risk, not suitable for all investors. Don't know if we'll hit those today, but we did read that. The paperMoney software application is for education purposes only as well. Probability analysis results are theoretical in nature, not guaranteed. There's no guarantee that the execution of a stop order will be at or near the stop price. Investing does involve risk, including the loss of principal, and for some products and strategies, loss of more than your initial investment. Very important to remember that. Past performance, no guarantee of future results. Okay, well, we are going to be right over here in our list of things to take a look at. I thought I'd spend some time today really talking about a topic that I really do enjoy quite a bit. You guys might know I do teach the thinkscript class on a regular basis. I do have some great fill-ins, though. Other coaches that fill in for me from time to time, I appreciate. But yeah, I'm somewhat familiar with the scan tab. We're going to hit this and really try to dive into some of the key areas here I think that could be useful. And definitely, if there's something that you have in mind, throw that into the chat so I can try to address that for you as we throw it there. And Barb did just mention here that she'll be in San Diego. I got a sister that lives in San Diego. I should say my only sibling. Not like I have multiple sisters. She lives in San Diego, and she'll be there for the 2-day that's a good one too. Technical analysis and intro to options workshop. Fantastic. That's right. Mike. Hello to you, Alicia. All right. Good to have you here. All right. Well, let's do this. Let's just dive on into it. That's the best way to hit this, is just diving straight on into it here and taking a look at it. So a good look at our markets here. By the way, folks, you're not going to believe it, but we actually have, believe it or not. Well, you got to believe your eyes. We're down a little bit today. I just say right now, I should say right now. Who knows? We might be back up by the end of the day. But yes, we did move down a little bit. It's rare to see us down. I think even on this day, I'm not even sure we closed lower on that day. It was a red day because we opened higher and closed lower on a candle, but that's actually a downer day. Okay, a down day. So interesting. Just to take a look at that. Now, that's enough of my chart analysis. You guys are here for thinkorswim getting started with, and right here, the scan tab. So that's our main tab. I want to address that first. So let's go into the scan tab. You'll notice up top, there are probably going to be some defaults potentially set up here. I'm just going to click the X and knock those out. First things first, you did notice, or you might have noticed up top here as we looked at this, we have in this area, yeah, of course, I just pointed it out, the main tab, the scan tab, but the key point is the sub tab, and that is the stock hacker, and that's where we're at. Now, there are other hackers in there. This is not the only hacker. We've got the option hacker, which is unique to options and other some of the other criteria that are specific within options. We've also got the spread hacker and some others within the scan tab itself. We are got to be in the stock hacker, which is where we are. Now you'll notice this is very important too. Where do we want to scan in first? What basket of stocks? Now, these can be watch lists we've created. that we've made ourselves through other scans, actually. And I'll show you how to save that as a watch list too. That's part of this. But like for example, the scan tab right here. At the bottom, you got a lot of great public stuff that you want to look, maybe potentially look at first, right? I mean, S&P 500. I mean, at the top, of course, you can have that smaller basket. It's right towards the bottom. There's the Dow Jones Industrial Average, obviously very popular, very common. You got others in here too. You got ETFs, all ETFs, and other ETFs, and commission-free ETFs along these lines. Quite a bit here, but just go through and just see what you got. I'll hit another key one right there at the top, in this case, the NASDAQ 100, that's often used. The Russell 2000, a bigger basket by far of companies. You got the Russell 3000, but these are baskets we can look at. You've got a number of these penny increment options, just a lot of cool things. That's a huge one there, by the way. NYSE is about 2,700 plus, just a little over 2,700 stocks in the NYSE. Down here, some of the bigger ones right at the bottom, the S&P 500. I'm going to use this for now. But what I do use from time to time is the S&P 500, and I might look within the S&P 500 itself, and that would be right here. If I wanted to find a particular industry in the S&P 500, well, right at the very bottom, notice what it says there. Sorry, I'm so used to clicking on it. Intersect with, the last two ones, intersect with or exclude. If you want to exclude something from the S&P 500, say for example, you wanted to exclude energy. You can do the same thing down here with industrials and select energy and give you all the stocks within the S&P 500 X energy. But if I want to intersect that with maybe an area that has been strong as of late, information technology, I can either select over here the basket itself, that is the sector of information technology, or the individual industries within there. And by the way, click on it. You also have, yes, with the arrow over here, you've got sub-industries. Now, if I just click at the top, I'm just going to get simply everything within information technology. So I could click on that as well. Okay. I'll start the search off here. We could change this anytime we want. Actually, you know what? Forget it. I'm going to clear the filter. You can always, as long as I showed you where it's at, we're good. Now, there are other cool things you can select in here too. Obviously, the top 10. Look at this, top 10 gain in NASDAQ. Of course, we could create our own search for this, but there are pre-built searches that we can tap into as well. Lovers and losers, analyst downgrades, upgrades. Do you want to see those? You can see them just like that. For example, if we just wanted to see analyst upgrades only, and we had no additional filters within this, it's not analyst upgrades within technology. That's kind of cool. If you want to see what the upgrades were, or downgrades for that matter, in a particular area, you could do it. We're not going to distinguish between any of those. I'm just going to simply click on the scan just to show you how fast this is. No match. Well, see, it's real quick and there's no matching symbols, by the way. That's super fast. But let's just do one that we know is going to be there. How about the top 10 gainers on the NASDAQ's a big basket. That's not the NASDAQ 100. This is bigger than the NYSE, I think. Yeah, I think it is. But watch this. This is going to be quite large. But that was fast, right? Top 10 gainers. It's over a large basket of stocks. It's not large because we're looking at the top 10. But you can see over here how quick we got those. So a good way to determine top 10, well, it was based on percent. There's your percent column right there. Boom, you got it. Just to drill down on this for just a second, because we're going to be we can utilize these tools through all these additional scans we're going to be running too and looking at as well. But anytime we wanted to adjust one of these columns over here, just simply right click, or add a column for that matter. Right click, wouldn't matter if you're on a PC or a Mac. Click on customize, left click customize, and then you can add, just knock yourself out. I swear there's more added every single week. You got a bunch of these too at the very bottom now that are pre-built in terms of percent changes and things like that. It doesn't show at the top, but we've got a number of these in here. I'm gonna share this one with you guys. This is a thinkscript. Thinkscripts are not guaranteed for timeliness or accuracy, but as long as the data that's flowing into the platform is accurate, it's a mathematical calculation. But just wanted to state that. I'll just show you, for example, on this. It was just a 1 week percent change. Some of them aren't even coming up yet. I don't know why. Normally it loads up. It might be my demo account here. But let's just go ahead and give you guys that if you don't have it. By the way, those of you that are viewing this on the recording, I will put this under the description section. I did make some adjustments to this. But anyways, let's just put this in here. Into the chat just in case, because it's kind of nice to know what's been moving over the last week, month. You can change it into a month. Actually, I'll show you how to do that real quick here as well. I think many of you do have this, but just in case you don't, there it is. There's the script right there. Uh, Posted it in there for you so you have access to it quickly, just super quick. If I wanted to change this to a 1 month, click on the script. We've gone through this in the thinkscript class quite a bit, but go in here and just change this number to the number of market days. So for example, if I was looking, it might be something like a 21 or 22 day. I would put it here for 1 month and I'd have to put it there. These two places, I would put that number and I would simply just make sure to change it to 1 month percent if you wanted to. And you could have a multiple number of these as well. Anyways, I always get requests for that. And so I just thought I would hit it from the get-go here. And there you have it. It does color it as well, which is kind of cool. But that's how you would add anything else in there. You can see I've got some a yield of, none of these have paid dividends, but if they did, you've got PE ratios. It looks like you might have a couple in there that are actually positive. The rest are negative, but they happen to be the biggest gainers on the day. And these are big gainers. I mean, wow. Okay, now that we're looking at this though, what if we said we wanted to see the top 10 NASDAQ gainers, as I'm going to use this as an example just for kind of fun to break down additional criteria. Well, over here in the add filter, and I think many of you already know about it, but just in case you don't, I mean, you've got to learn it for the first time. It's right over here. I'm going to add that filter right there. There's a drop down. Now, if I click on stock, I'm going to show you what's in the stock first. These are the selections within stock. Now, remember what these are. When I click on add filter, we're just overlaying additional filters on top of this key search here. Top 10% gainers in the NASDAQ. Now, what else do we want to do? This is going to open up that area for more potential selections for us to make. So really straightforward, really quite easy. The drop down, click on the drop down box right here. A lot of these are going to be kind of, interesting. There's the PE ratio. I already, I can remember I have it over here, but I can filter the initial scan so that when I scan through it, it's running through the entire what? NASDAQ. It's still looking for the top 10 gainers with these filters in mind, or these filters in effect. So, yeah, so this was actually the initial filter was what we're scanning in, if you want to look at it that way. These are additional filters. So here's a thought. What if, we're going to just keep, we can do several of these, but what if we said, if we say, for example, instead of PE ratio, I'm going to choose EPS. One of the ways to make sure you're dealing with profitable companies, and in other words, you're going to get a PE ratio that's actually positive, is you may consider just saying, well, on the minimum EPS, you're going to say, I at least want these companies here to be making a penny in earnings. In other words, what are they? They are profitable. Sometimes it's risky, to be honest with you. I mean, it's, earnings can always be risky, but I mean, even more risky, if a company has never been able to make money, they might be on the verge of an even bigger loss. You never know. Tab through it. If I click on scan, this list is going to change because right now, the requirements, it will change because we already know that many of these are not going to be in that list. A couple of them might still be. Watch this. So the PE ratio over here, I shouldn't have had the max in there. Just leave the max open. There is a max column. Oh, that is, by the way, that's just the max by itself. Okay, now it's going to really slow down. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to flip into the NASDAQ, excuse me, seems to be a little bit slow. And sometimes you get that with the demo account. Your account should be immediately quick. S&P 500 requirement here. I just flipped to the S&P 500, at least a penny in earnings. There you go. How many companies are profitable, at least making a penny in their prior earnings per share? Most of them made money. 472 out of 500, actually. Okay, we're going to keep adding to this though. Okay, what else did we want in here? What if we did this? What if we set a PE ratio, price to earnings ratio of, I'm going to give us a number, a low end. That's a really low end, like a 5. But then on the upper end, I'm going to say I'm going to cap it at 50. Do you think we'll get less? Folks, we're going to get a lot less. And it does give us kind of a tally over here. Yeah, we cut out quite a few. I'm going to drop it down even to 30. Gosh. Okay, I'll just go 40. 40. So a PE ratio, fundamental criteria, right, of 50 to 40. We've got 368. So now these companies are profitable and maybe they're not too expensive, all else equal, based upon the PE ratio. That fast we got it. Okay. If we were satisfied with this, we could come over here into this. Oh, yeah, we got a little highlight over here. This icon, the three bars, the three horizontal bars. I'm going to click on it and I can click on Save as Watch List. Now, if I do that and type up the name, that watch list, folks, is going to pop up right over here. Right over here. Click on it. You could type in watch list and you could pull that up. You can see all these personal ones that I've built. Some of these are from the thinkscript class, others are not. Like, for example, I did put inside just here S&P 500 energy stocks only. You know, what was that using? The intersect with up top. But that's where we're at right there. Okay, so we got that in place, but just want to show you that's where that would save, and we would find it again under our personal folders, under the category of whatever we saved it at. They're in alphabetical order. Okay, so just a quick note there. Oh yeah, you guys are welcome for that script. Absolutely, can be helpful. All right. Next up, let's choose some other selections here. There were some. Well, I'm going to just go. There are option selections. The fundamental one is interesting as well because you can put fundamental criteria. By the way, notice that this was a fundamental criteria, and so was this. A little partial fundamentals sometimes. Developing the basket of stocks you're looking at. But look at this. You can go into more detail. Earnings per share, which is this, but it's also on a trailing 12-month basis. You've got dividends per share and dividends. I mentioned yield. Just a quick note on dividends. Dividends, aren't guaranteed. They can be cut anytime, but it's just a little side note there. Um, just because I'm talking about dividends. But look at this, gross margin. Actually, I already have that. You can put a lot of different criteria in here. Uh, there it is. It spells it out here, but it's virtually the same exact filter. Price to earnings ratio, that's the PE. So there you go. A little bit of an overlap in some of these areas. Return on equity, sales figures, whatever it is, you can add these in very, very quickly and you've got it in place. Okay, I'm going to click the X over here because we actually already put in a couple of these. By the way, here's another fun one we can do just with stocks. I think this is a very, very popular one. I don't want to miss it. The closing price. What if we didn't want a stock? If we were scanning through the NASDAQ 100 or the NASDAQ composite, there are a ton of penny stocks. I mean, low price stocks, under $5 or whatever the case might be. You might not want those. So you could just come over here and say, you know what? I want everything, let's just say $10 and above, but maybe nothing in the, maybe you don't want $1,000 range, maybe nothing over 800 even. That's going to knock some of these out too. See, we just knocked some out. So that's another price filter, which can be interesting too. All right. With that, so I got some of these in here. This where it starts to get a little bit interesting down here under study for additional filters. We've got our main filters up top, but look over here. It's got this ADX, which is this the default because it's in alphabetical order. Go over here. You can look for bullish and bearish candlestick patterns. Okay. Bearish, bullish only. Look at this. Corporate actions. This gets interesting here. Dividends, earnings, and splits. Look at this under earnings. If I just take a look at this, of all the companies that we're going to be scanning through here, the S&P has earnings and earnings announcement. Anytime in the next, if you're looking for companies that you were looking to have earnings within the next few, let's just say the next, notice bars, so you're looking at calendar bars. So if I said something like a 21, that's normally the number of market days in a month. But that would help to ensure that we don't have any earnings coming up over that time frame. However, if we wanted to see what companies are coming up, the end of this week and the next week, we could say something like maybe the next 8 bars and scan again. Now we're going to be down to, look at that, 8 companies. So these companies have earnings in the next 8 bars. Let's check it out on our charts. Adobe number one on the list in alphabetical order as it shows. There it is. See that? Isn't that cool? Sometimes you don't want earnings. If you're doing, like these shorter term trades, we do a lot of these in the swing trade class that I've got. Maybe you don't want something that earnings over the next month or so, the next month cycle. So you just want to just maybe try to trade the chart without the impact of earnings. You could look at something like that, right? I'm just saying it's something to look at. But notice how that really did filter this down quite a bit. All right, so back to our scan tab here. Let's just change this one for now. I just showed you how it worked. It's very quick, accurate. You got some great accuracy there with that. There's splits, dividends as well. Crossovers. These can be common. Moving average crossovers, a good quick way to create a moving average crossover. Just right there, built in. These are all built in. Some license studies. You've got popular studies. Take a look at some of these. Price performance. Did it gap up? Did it gap down? These are oftentimes very general type scripts. We have built some of these a little bit differently in the thinkscript class. And I might just pause to show you guys, if you do like some of the built searches that are in thinkscript, I'll just show you where that's at if you are in fact interested. If you are, and I'll pull this up real quick. And by the way, be sure to subscribe to our channel here, Trader Talks, if you're not already on board. We've got 198,000 subscribers already. Take a look at our playlist. Barb's got some great stuff in here. She's got a trading a smaller account, very popular class. I do a chat for her in that class. Does a great job in that class. Filled in a couple times as well for her, which is always fun. We've got the script down here. We did one recently up top, and we've got others down here. But if you guys want to take a look at this, feel free to take a look at what we've got. But these are other scans. I told you guys up front, scans are something I do like. I think they're great. They're useful. They're useful, in terms of customizing. We're almost to our customizing portion here too in just a second. But these are some think scripts. Again, they're not guaranteed for time and accuracy, as we discussed. But that is the thinkscript playlist where you might find a lot of those that might be something close to what you customize. I do take topic requests in there too as well, since we're on the topic of the scan tab today. So I'll just put this in here as a playlist. There you have it. All right, folks, be sure and hit that like button if you're getting value out of this presentation. I'd love to have you again subscribe. And be sure to follow Barb on X. That would be Barb Armstrong, not Barbara, but Barb Armstrong, CS. I am Mike Fairbourn, CS. Okay, I'll pull this guy back down here. There we go. There's earnings. Let's continue on. We just looked at it. Popular studies, price performance. These are some of the scripts that are in there. We've got statistical, price correlations, etc. Fascinating ones. We've got a few here from a magazine. Volatility, as well as where I really wanted to go, down here in the area of volume. Now look at this. Average volume, unusual volume, volume change. Average volume can be a really cool one to take a look at. I just replaced the earnings here. The reason is sometimes traders do like to look for whatever they're trading. They might like to have a larger volume amount that they're looking at. So this says it's a great little filter. By the way, it could be very useful if you're looking at some of those lower price stocks in the NASDAQ, even more useful. The S&P 500 oftentimes does have a lot of companies that have just on average more volume, than outside of maybe the S&P 500, generally speaking, into larger baskets of small and mid-cap stocks. But as we look over here, just wanted to state that, yeah, this is really interesting because on the average volume, I'll show you how to look at this and point it out, but this is a 50-day time frame, simple moving average. You got your selection there if you like to use different moving averages. Oftentimes like to make it simple. I've never used the less than volume I think liquidity is almost always preferred, but you have a drop down just in case. Instead of 1 million, we're going to say on average, let's just double it. Let's say 2 million. 2 million shares on average. How are we going to do now? 219 stocks. Wow, on average. Now, to cross correlate this to the chart so you can see this, there's actually another cool tool to use here as well. I want to highlight this for you just so you have it, because I think it can be useful to kind of visually see as well. And a lot of these can be. As a matter of fact, within that thinkscript playlist that I provided you guys, uh, you could see a PE rate, an earnings line on the chart. You can see where earnings are on the chart. Is it trending up? A lot of times traders like to see earnings trending up with share prices, with the stock trending up over time as well. They like the fundamentals to coincide to balance with the technicals in a lot of cases. I also did just recently create two, or shared, I should say, a PE ratio on the chart. That too, you'd find that in the thinkscript studies. And number three, I'm just going to show it to you right now because this is just kind of a chart indication. These are thinkscripts added to the chart where you can put fundamentals and see them visually on the chart. Cool way to have everything in one place. But and by the way, you'll see that ThinkScript link I just wrote in the chat if you want to take a look at that, if there's anything in there that resonates with you. But yeah, those are some of the ones I've done recently. And here's the one too. This average volume, let me just show you where you can put that on the chart. It's right here. It's easy to do, just so you can reference it. Notice I do not have any volume lines on the chart. I've got volume, and I can add moving averages. So let's click over here to add a indicator on the chart. Okay, we could do that. I've got so many of them, I'm actually going to kill some of these right now just to get them off. Too many. Uh, Fine, I can keep what I've got. But notice you can just add them in like this, a simple moving average. It's right there. Double click on it. You got it. Come over here. What did we require on our filter? 50-day moving average. Not on price though, on volume. Let's get something that sticks out. Let's be a little creative. We've got this yellowish color. We've got three width, and we've got a study down here. We're going to do it in a dotted fashion. In addition, what I want to do is under price, click on volume. Now we're putting that moving average on volume so it can be in line with our filter. And there you go. Did you see it? It added it right in there, right there. So if we were to run through one of these companies that, it's the volume, this is the line that's referring to, is this average volume line. Okay. So it's saying that the average volume is greater than 2 million for million, 2 million shares. That is exactly what you're getting over here. It's that line that's doing it. In other words, prices have been holding above a 2 million level. But here's the thing on this. This is actually just showing you the average volume on the chart itself, but you can get a reference over here. So as you're looking at the volumes, I'm just saying on average, it would be above 2 million. Now, that's not this one necessarily, but I mean, you'd have to say that, well, it probably is. It's already over at 2 million. On average, where does it represent the line at? 5 million. 5 million. What does our scan do? It says that it's above 2 million. That's 2 million, right? Should be set. Yeah, it is. 2 million. Okay. 6 zeros in there. Good. So these are some great tools that can be utilized very, very quickly. There is a final one in here. If you ever wanted to look at it, it's called patterns. I have found these patterns to be okay. They're not really quite to the level that I would kind of like see as a pattern. Sometimes there's sort of, I mean, you can play with it. I think there's some room for development here, but I mean, it's kind of cool to have it. And it's a good point to build from for sure. But I'll just leave these ones in here as a good sort of filter for you guys to tap into as an example. Now, if you like something like this and you don't want to keep building it out each and every single time, go up here and go right to your middle hamburger icon right there, right there. I think they call that an action icon. Anyways, it's that three line. That's where you got to go. And then what you can simply do, click on it, come over here and just save it. Save it to whatever the name of it is. You just title it, say general filter scan. Make sure it's something that you recognize so that when you come over here and then you try to load it, you're going to find it where? In your personal folders on the left. You can quickly add that in. I mean, take a look at it, adjust it if you want to. Now, because we've saved, let's just say, for example, we saved this and we've named it. I've got so many, I don't want to keep saving them, but if I save it and I title it, you know where it's going to show up at? Beautifully in our watch lists. And this is what it's going to look like. Do you see these over here? That one that says double divergence. I think script scan that we built that seeks out double divergences off. This was the MACD and the RSI, but just a side note. Look at this one, dual moving averages. It finds these. We're heading there in just a second, but to thinkscript. But there you go. Earnings gap and go. Companies that had earnings and have gapped higher. This is what I'm looking for. That whatever we titled it, if we click on it, you're going to pull those up, and they are current to the market based upon the scan you just created. How convenient is that? Folks, how nice is that? And the best part of that whole, well, that is, I mean, that's part of the best part, but link it to red, for example, tie that red to your chart, red, and now simply either click on the symbol and you got it. These have double divergence. You can find a lot of these towards the bottom, maybe showing a bottoming type formation. You're getting double divergence off two indicators here, is what this is searching out. But notice this. Yeah, a lot of double type bottoms here, or rounded type bottoms. You can either click with the mouse, left click, folks, or simply, if you can hear me doing that, I'm just hitting the enter button on the keyboard. That's it. Great place to search for, sort of bottom type formations, though. For that one, what about the one we built? Well, that would be a great place to search for exactly the criteria that we are seeking out here. All right. So let's hit this, folks. If you're getting value out of this, smash that like button. And let's see, what do we have? All right, we've got search on YouTube. There you go. Yes. Thank you, Wiley. There's a lot of different points. Thank you, Barb. Points listed here. And let's see, can you use the average volume to evaluate ETF liquidity over time? Yes, I mean you use that line for anything. We can't go into ETFs in this class because it requires a specific sort of a compliance level that we don't have for this particular class that we run through. However, determining which ETFs, let's see, are better and if there are times not to buy. Okay, the thing with technical indicators, they can give you an idea. Some would say higher expectations, right? Trying to improve what some traders would just quote as their chances of success, right? You could do that any time and have that be part of a buy and sell kind of an approach that you're using. But you could definitely use that. There are other tools you can use too. A quick note on volume, since you did bring it up over here, JW. Over here, you see the volume. I mean, you could throw like an ETF in here, for example. There's one on the S&P 500. Um, Over here back in the scan tab, just a quick note under this average volume. Take a look at this one. This could tie into a system that could be utilized to the way that some traders would look at it to give them, greater chances of success or whatever they might think that could do. Come over here, look at this. Unusual volume. What does this do? Volume, the current bar's volume, we'll just use volume, increased. Again, there's the decreased. We're kind of looking for growth in volume. Decreased at least 20% over its average from its typical average over 50 periods. Now that's interesting. We already know where the 50 period comes from, right? We just looked at it. But this is a spike, volume spike in there. So you could take a look at the volume spike as well. Yep, and Barb went on with that as well. Perfect. Yep. Thanks, Barb. Yeah, be sure to like, subscribe, Trader Talks, and let's do this. Let's go right into this next area here, which is going to be, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to clear these out. Not that we couldn't use those, but in the S&P 500, look at this, add filter. Come down here, folks, take a look at a study filter, just like we'd seen before. Go under study. This is where it becomes interesting. This is access. This gains you access to the condition wizard right there. Now, this is the periodicity. This is looking at the daily time frame. To the right of that, we can change to a weekly. So you can scan in a weekly chart too if you wanted to. Look at this. Knock yourself out. Look at all these periodicities, tons of them. Daily charts, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and yearly charts. You got to be kidding me. You better have a lot of data if you're scanning through those. You want to get a bull flag on a yearly chart? Yeah, you got to have a lot of data to do that. But anyways, that's where you'd find that. Now let's click on the little pencil icon up top. And here you go. Now, the first thing is it does default to this ADX crossover. Go to the far right and click delete. We're going to create our own in the condition wizard. And we do that by starting to add a condition. Now, I want to build a simple one for you. Now, I want you guys to throw this into the chat. What moving average out there do you guys often use for an indication of prices breaking above it, bouncing up higher? What stocks do you want to see breaking above a moving average, for example? Any? Throw those in the chat and we'll address it. Just a quick note here. Please share this scan to download. Oh, okay. I just erased it. I'm so sorry. I can build it quickly though. I I can build it for you. Let's just do that while I'm waiting. Let's see how fast I could rebuild that. Um, Andrew, here we go. So let's go ahead and we did have closing. Remember, you can adjust these two to whatever you want. I think we had like 10 to 80 or something like that. Could have been 100. I'll just adjust these as you see fit. We also had over here, we had a couple more stocks. Notice how I could just add these in real quick. We had EPS. So that was here, come on, 0.01, boom. And then we had the PE ratio, and we set that within a range, right? We said 10 to 40 here. And then the last thing we did over here is we went to a study. And by the way, the one that I used over the longest time frame that we looked at the longest was just this average volume over 2 million. It was in the S&P. Let me share that. That would have been a good idea for me to do, but there you go. That was a good refresher anyways. By the way, for those of you viewing this on the recorded session, I will have this in the description section down below. Scan sample is what we'll call it. And there you have it. Okay, cool. So let's go over here. 20 and 50. I'll show you guys where we can do that very, very easily. 20 and 50s are both interesting. And by the way, did we find that out yesterday? For those of you in my swing trade class, I was in the 50 for a while, which I do frequently use. That's kind of the longer term trend. And within that, the shorter term trend. There's an intermediate like 50, shorter term 20. Anyways, all right, we're going to continue on with this. We'll jump down here and we're going to just change this guy. Okay, so back to where we were. So I'm gonna actually delete that. We'll go to study and we'll click on our little pencil. We'll pull it up. So you're going to get this pop-up box deleted. Add that filter, price, closing price. That's all we're going to do. But clicked on price first. Crosses above a study. The simple moving average is a study. The one thing I'm going to look forward to doing, and I haven't tapped into too much in the thinkscript arena yet, is functions, statistical functions. I think that's going to be another cool area for us to explore. But study. Why? Because the simple moving average, and look at all these studies you can use, but just type it in to find it quick. Simple moving average right there. Simple moving average could be so powerful, but you probably don't want to watch it every day, right? 20. Okay. Barb, just change that to a 50. You were looking at the 50 over there. This is really great too. You want to have it happen today or sometimes within the last 3 days. Give you a little bit of a room to know, give you some time to say, hey, maybe happened earlier this week. Click on save, and that's it. If you ever wanted to see what that code looks like, which we do in the thinkscript class, sometimes we go kind of deep into that, but a lot of times we're just building indicators and sharing them. But that's the code, but we just build it. If the OK lights up, you got it. That's it. Watch this. It's been built to scan within the S&P 500. Stocks in the S&P 500 closing above the 20-period moving average within the last 3 days. Watch how quick this is. Ready? Click. Went through 500 stocks that fast within the last 3 days. Found that 122 of them closed within today, yesterday, the day before the over the 20-period moving average. It doesn't mean they're still above it, but it crossed above it over that time frame. It crossed above it. Look at this one. Abbott's been down too. Interesting. I want to see A, B, and B plus Abbott. So here is A, B, and B. Okay. It went above there. And you want it did? Right there. Let's pull it up on the chart. I got to do a quick clarifier here to show you guys something. Let's add a couple in here. A simple, so we can actually see it. It doesn't look like it's above it right now. But oh, actually, I just need the 20. That's good. So 20, not 50. All right. So here we go. Let's click on that. There's your 20. Did we get above it the last 3 days? That's all we asked the computer to tell us. We did, but we're back below it. We're back below it. Abbott Labs, ABT. Did it get above there? Yes, it did. And it's been below there for a while. Touched, came close to touching right there. Maybe a higher low. Abbott's been down for a while. Just curious. Hey, could be of interest. Maybe he starts to break some highs. Some traders might look at that. But on that first one, let's do something else to ensure that these that come up only are stocks that are crossing above and are still holding above that level. So how do we do that? Go right back to our pencil. We go right back to our condition wizard. I'm going to make it as basic as possible. Look at this. Add condition. We'll make them separate. It is price. It is the closing price. Is still greater than. What's it greater than? The simple moving average. Folks, it's very simple actually to do. It's very simple. And by the way, it's not holding above it over the last 3 days because that could screw up our flow. It's just currently above it right now. Do you see how that one little change could really make a huge difference on your chart? Watch this. We were not going to get 122. Wow, we knocked off quite a bit, maybe 30. Yeah, 30 we knocked off. By the way, if you wanted to show more than 92, more than 50, just go into stocks and just go to 200. You're going to show them all now on your list. Right here. See them all the way down. You got it. So Abbott's in there. Let's just hit one more. BIIB. Okay. We closed above 1 day ago, one bar. That's just today. And are we currently still above it? Yes and yes. It met both criteria. That's exactly what that scan wanted us to do. Now I'm going to share this as well too. Again, remember, just thinkscripts are guaranteed for timeliness or accuracy, and not guaranteed. I want to make sure I might have said that too quick. Thinkscripts are not guaranteed for timeliness or accuracy. Here is our sample thinkscript scan for you to take a look at in case you wanted to build on that, just get a sense. It can be helpful. By the way, anytime I share one of these, just go over the top, folks, and go to the setup, open shared items. Just plug in what I've been sharing with everybody on these for the scans. Paste that in. I use Control V on a PC. Mac would be Command V. And then you can preview it. Just name this exactly what it is. Stocks breaking above the 20-day moving average last 2 days or something like that. Import it. And then where are you going to find it at? In the scan tab, you're going to find it up here in your saved, excuse me, you're going to load it because you've already saved. Well, save it. Save it. Well, that is saving it. And then you can load it up over here in your personal folders. Okay. All right, everybody. Well, that is what we had for you today. It went a little bit longer even than I thought, but there's a lot to get into, and it's a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun going through it. Be sure and take a look at that thinkscript class, folks. If in fact you are interested in doing so, I did put the link out there for you for that in the chat. And again, you can take a look at any of these. This particular one is just at the bottom here. Since our topic was on scans, we build those out quite a bit, customize them. We do take topic requests as well. But on that, be sure to take a look at Barb's classes and follow Barb on X. Barb Armstrong CS, Mike Fairbourn CS. Love to have you guys on board with us there. Yeah, we do post financially related information on those. And with that, everybody, have a fantastic rest of the day. We'll see y'all next time. Take care. Thank you, Barb. Thanks all.